In the vast landscapes of North America, Native Americans had some rather interesting approaches to romance and intimacy. Now, before you start picturing feathered headdresses and ceremonial dances, let's dive into the bizarre world of Native American sex practices, which, believe it or not, had some uncanny similarities to other cultures around the globe. First off, let's talk about the concept of two-spirit individuals. In many Native American tribes, some people identified as having both male and female spirits. This wasn't just a quirky label, it was a respected role within the community. These two-spirit folks often engaged in relationships that defied the conventional norms of their time. Imagine a world where your gender identity didn't box you into a single role. It was like being the Swiss Army knife of human relationships, versatile and handy in all situations. Now, if you think that's wild, let's take a look at the love huts. Yes, you heard that right. Some tribes had designated areas for couples to get their groove on. These huts were like the original love hotels, but without the neon lights and questionable room service. Couples would retreat to these cozy spots to engage in some serious bonding. It's like they had their own version of a romantic getaway, minus the overpriced champagne and awkward small talk with the concierge. But wait, there's more. The Native Americans also had a rather unique approach to courtship. Instead of the usual dinner and a movie routine, they often engaged in a practice called gift giving. This wasn't just a simple bouquet of flowers. It involved presenting potential partners with items like blankets, food, or even tools. It was like an early version of The Bachelor, where contestants wooed their love interests with practical gifts. Who knew that romance could be so utilitarian? Now, let's not forget the similarities with other cultures. For instance, the ancient Greeks had their own version of love huts, known as symposia. These were gatherings where men would drink, discuss philosophy, and oh yes, engage in some intimate activities. It seems that whether you were in Athens or among the Plains tribes, the idea of a designated space for romance was a universal concept. Talk about a cultural connection. And speaking of connections, let's not overlook the role of storytelling in Native American culture. Many tribes use stories to pass down knowledge about love, relationships, and intimacy. It's like they had their own version of sex ed, but with a lot more flair and a lot less awkwardness. Imagine sitting around a campfire, listening to tales of love and passion while roasting marshmallows. Now that's a lesson in romance. In conclusion, Native American sex practices were a delightful mix of respect, creativity, and practicality. From two-spirit individuals to love huts and gift-giving, they had a unique approach to intimacy that shared similarities with cultures around the world. So the next time you think about romance, remember that love has always been a wild ride, no matter where you are.